You've just spent several days, 20 hours, whatever it is, making this part or finishing a part. Usually one of the last operations is to thread the holes, and you run your tap in there and you feel it getting a little bit dull, but you're in a hurry and you may not have another one. You don't want to take the time to back it out, go get another one, fit it into your holder, and finish threading that hole. So you end up trying to finish the part with that tap anyway, and the tap freaking breaks. Now, what the F do you do? So I'm going to show you a great technique for cutting out a tap. You can literally cut a tap with a carbide end mill. This is a high-speed steel tap, and I want to show you that today because it will probably save you a lot of time and frustration. It's something to have in your mental toolbox to get you out of a bad situation like this. Seriously, this is the point where the blood rushes to my face. I start to sweat. I can feel my heartbeat. I usually will swear internally and out loud. And I literally stand there by myself looking at this part thinking, okay, what do I do now? There's a little bit of comfort in the back of my mind knowing, okay, I know how to do this. I can deal with this. I've done this before. Calm down, take a little bit of a break, and then we'll come back, we'll cut the tap out, we'll chase it, and everything will be fine. So since this tap broke off really high, what we want to do is get as much of this material away as we can. So we want to get the tap down to being flush with the material, pretty close. And the easiest way to do that is going to be cut it off or grind it off, something like that. We want to try and minimize the amount of cutting we do with our end mill and make it a little bit easier on ourselves. So since I need to stick this part back in here after I grind that off, I'm going to throw a stop here. That way I can take it out and we can throw it back in the same position. This is a great technique that was taught to me by one of my old teachers when I used to work in a tool room for an aerospace machining company. We would occasionally get repairs and things from other departments. They would send them to the tool room to let the wizards fix them. So we would often repair parts that were too expensive to throw away. Knowing that you have a solution to that that's reliable and works well will make you a little less scared about breaking taps. And this technique will work well no matter what the depth of your hole is. This one's not too deep, it's only 1/4 inch stock, but it could be, maybe it's 3/4 inches deep and the whole thing is threaded. You can go as deep as you need to go. Pick the size of end mill that is going to work to cut out the core diameter of your tap. So this is a 1032 tap. You make sure you want to use carbide. That 1/8 inch end mill should cut out the core of that tap and allow us to extract the rest of the flutes there once we cut through. So we're going to throw our slightly used abused carbide end mill in a spring collet. You don't want to use any of your other fancy holders because you want it to be as short and concentric as possible. We're going to throw this in here. We're going to use about 2500, 3000 RPM. And the trick to this that really makes it work well is we're going to peck at about a 2 or 3 thou depth per peck. And it's that small peck coupled with a lot of mist coolant that is going to allow us to cut through that. You don't want to do a continuous feed because the end mill will grab in the tap and usually break the end mill. So what I've done is I've gotten the quills nice and short here in the head, and I've set the quill stop so that I can move it with my thumb here as we go. But you want to adjust the end mill so that it's just about to contact the tap. So let's give this a try. And we're literally just peck drilling that tap out of there a couple thou at a time. So with your right hand you're plunging with the quill, and with your left hand you're moving the screw on the quill stop a couple thousandths at a time. And of course you can do this on any machine with a quill, and you can also do it on any CNC machine. You would just program your pecking routine and do it that way. And you can see that it's actually pretty quick to do it. And one advantage of doing it on a machine with a quill is you can feel what's going on. If you start hearing those crunchy noises, or you feel that the end mill's not cutting anymore, then you know you probably damaged or broke the end mill and you can just swap it out and keep going. The great thing about the carbide is it doesn't usually lodge in the part like the tap does, so you can usually pick those pieces out and then go back in with a new end mill and keep going. The part will be saved, I can still deliver on time, the customer will be happy, and we will still get paid. And sometimes if you're lucky, all the pieces will just blow out. Otherwise, you probably will have a few pieces of the flute stuck in there that you can usually pick out or dislodge. And then the last step would be to run another tap through there, hopefully in better condition, and make sure that those threads are correct and that all the little chips of the old tap are out. The tap that you're running in now will not cut the old one, it will just remove it. So whatever tap you use for that is basically junk after the repair. So in this case, we didn't get all the way through with the tap, or we didn't get all the way through the bottom of the hole. What I would do now is we have 4 threads at the top that are clean, and then a few pieces of the old tap in there. I would run a new tap in there by hand so I can feel what's going on and clean it out. So let's grab one and do that. And you can feel those pieces in there being kicked out by the new tap as you go. As long as they don't chip the new tap, you're good to go. They'll come out as chips. So that's how you do it. That's how you get a broken tap out of your part. Just keep in the back of your mind that you can cut high-speed steel that's hardened with carbide. There's other applications for that in the shop, but this is one of the big ones, is to be able to remove broken tap. Huge headache, save you time, tons of money, and get your projects done on time.